Please, I can't sleep.
It's time to listen to Courtney at last on the Ramblings of an Insomniac podcast.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Ramblings of an Insomniac. I am Courtney. How the heck are ya? I am coming to you live from a Bi-Mart parking lot. Isn't that always the best? Last time it was a Tractor Supply parking lot. Now it's a Bi-Mart parking lot. Exciting places. You know, who needs Europe? Who needs to see the seven wonders of the world when you can chill out in a Bi-Mart parking lot, you know? Yeah. Anyway, hello. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thanks for sharing your time with me. I appreciate it, taking the time out of your day to listen to my podcast. That means the world to me, and I appreciate it. You are amazeballs. Thank you. So what has been keeping me up? What has been preventing me from sleeping soundly? Right now, it's a gigantic piece of something in my eye that I'm obsessing about to the point of like probably being neurotic. It's really bugging me and I'm making my eyes red and it's ridiculous. But anyway, a couple of things. One, question to everybody out there. If you are grocery shopping and the clerk, the person checking you out, is like on their Bluetooth and they're talking on the phone. Or let's say you're at a mini mart and the person behind the counter is not making eye contact, not acknowledging that you exist other than to, take your money, but they don't say hi or make eye contact or have any kind of acknowledgement because they're too busy talking quite loudly on their Bluetooth. Does that bother you? Do you think that's okay? I go back and forth. Part of me is like, well, no, it's not okay because you're getting paid to do your job. You're getting paid to greet people. You're getting paid to look someone in the eyes. You're not getting paid to be talking on your phone. That's something you do on your break. That's something you do before or after work. So it kind of bothers me. But at the same time, I'm like, well, what the hell do I care? I'm usually going to the mini mart or to the store after I've been working and I'm tired. So the last thing that I feel like doing is chit-chatting. I don't really want to have a conversation. So then I'm kind of like, well, whatever. But lately it's like people don't even look up. They just take your money. And then I'm also noticing that people that aren't talking on their phone, but they're younger people, in front of me, these kids were sitting there playing hacky sack behind the counter, while I was standing there cussing very loudly, dropping the F-bomb. And again, I cuss like a truck driver. I drop the F-bomb all the time, but not in front of other people, not in front of my customers, not at all. Nor do I sit there and play hacky sack and have conversations about parties and just inappropriate conversations in front of customers. Do you guys find that okay? I feel like if you're getting paid to do a job, you're not getting paid to play hacky sack. You're not getting paid to talk on your phone. I mean, call me weird and old fashioned, but you get a checkbook. If you have time to play hacky sack and be talking on the phone, you have time to be cleaning and organizing and, doing things, I feel like. Also, does it bother you if, like me as the customer, let's say I'm on the phone and I'm talking on the phone as I'm checking out? Do you think that's rude? Again, I go back and forth. Part of me is like, I don't think that's rude because I'm not getting paid. I'm not on the clock. I'm not working. So I'm not getting paid to talk to people, to have customer service, to look people in the eyes. But then I also kind of find it rude because nobody needs to be hearing my conversations. Nobody wants to be hearing my conversations. And by the way, why do people put people on speakerphone? The whole world doesn't need to listen to your conversation. But I feel like I asked this on my last podcast, and I'm really tired, so I probably did. But hey, it's a new podcast. But it just cracks me up because people will sit there and put their phone on speaker and then go all over. Like they'll just walk all over the store with their phone on speaker. And I'm like, dude, the whole planet doesn't need to know what you're having for dinner and what you need for groceries or about a party or whatever. And then there's the Snoopy side of me that if I'm bored, I'm like, well, what's going on over there? And then you kind of eavesdrop. So I don't think it's appropriate to have your phone on speaker. I don't think it's appropriate for cashiers to be talking on the phone or playing hacky sack and cussing and talking about parties. I don't understand when that became okay. Probably around the same time that it became okay to allow minors to take hormone replacement therapy, to take hormone, to take hormones and to mutilate themselves. Probably around the same time when it became okay to where if a kid, God forbid, that was like a boy said they wanted to play with the Barbie doll, or a girl that said they wanted to like play with trucks, somehow that meant that they needed to be, a boy, like the opposite sex, and have like these to chop off body parts and identify as something different. I guess that's when it became okay to play hacky sack. About the same time that cry rooms were acceptable and calling everybody racist and making it where you can't win an Academy Award unless it's got like, every type of race and someone that identifies with every gender and someone that is in every religion, and it's just insane. Like I just don't understand. Like every place I go, it seems like it has people there. Okay, again, I don't give a shit if people have tattoos. I have 13 tattoos. I love tattoos. I don't care if people color their hair. I don't care if you have a mohawk. I don't care if you have piercings. I will say this. If you have multicolored hair, if your hair is rainbow and it's a mohawk, and you have a piercing from your nose, and then there's like a chain from your nose to your ear, and you have gauges, and you're wearing very, like fishnet stuff, and you have makeup that's very, 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 like you can see from space, you are going to get attention. You're going to get noticed. People are going to think some things. People are going to comment. And again, I don't care at all if people have multicolor hair and tattoos and chains on their face or how they dress at all. But I will say that unfortunately, if you are, let's say, an investment broker and you're going around getting clients, usually they want you to dress a certain way and have a certain look to represent seriousness. They want you to look serious. They want you to look like you take the job serious, not like you just rolled out of bed. And again, it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be incredibly intelligent. You can be a very hard worker. The fact that you have a mohawk doesn't mean that you aren't smart or that you aren't a hard worker. I'm just saying that, unfortunately, if you, let's say, roll out of bed and you don't brush your hair and you don't take a shower and you don't brush your teeth, you're going to have bad breath. And if your hair is looking a mess and if you're stinking, you've got some BO going on. That's probably not how you conduct yourself if you're, say, a senator or someone like a lawyer, and you have to like be in court, because people aren't going to take you seriously. If you can't take care of your own body if you can't maintain your own body, if you can't even shower and brush your teeth and get yourself, to court and look like respectful, then people are going to think some things, It doesn't mean you're not a good lawyer. You can be an amazing lawyer if you haven't showered and haven't brushed your teeth. But people are going to be like, if they can't even take their own hygiene seriously, how are they going to take my case? If they can't show up to court looking respectful, that says something. I had a girl show up for a job interview in sweatpants with holes in them, a t-shirt with Pokemon all over it that was so long it went down to her knees. Now, maybe she genuinely doesn't have any money, and maybe those are like her best clothes. And if that's the case, I appreciate the fact that she wore clothes and didn't show up, naked. I appreciate that, she showed up. But she very clearly didn't brush her hair. And it just looked like she got out of bed. Now, granted, again, I appreciate the fact that she was even looking for a job. The fact that she wanted a job. I think that's amazing. The fact that she was looking for a job, I think, is amazing. And the fact that she wasn't doing it just online and she actually came in person was amazing. I just remember back in my day, we had to go from place to place turning in resumes, and you shook people's hand and you looked people in the eyes and you dressed up, you dressed for the part that you wanted. But again, I just appreciate people even wanting to work and coming in and putting in effort at all nowadays. But it's just sad because we've lowered our standards. And I don't think we should lower standards. Just like Oregon saying that, they don't care anymore if kids graduate without knowing how to read or write or do arithmetic. It's like, oh, we're going to lower our standards because we think that Black people are stupid. Yet we call everybody else racist. We say everybody else is a racist piece of garbage, but we're going to lower our standards because we don't feel that African American people, that Black people are smart enough to keep up with the rest of the population. That's crappy. And also, that's not how you handle it. You educate people. You don't lower yourself, you educate people. You have them rise to the occasion, right? No one seems to rise to the occasion anymore. People just give up. They give up on marriages and they give up on themselves and they give up on jobs, and people just seem to give up. Which is weird because we're not going through the depression. We're not going through some big thing. And yet, it's like we have to make up things to be angry about, like transitioning, like transgender stuff, like racism. The crazy left had to make up a bunch of stuff to be angry about because you have so much in America. You have so much in America that you have to make up shit to be angry about. I'm sure there are people in other countries that are like, Jesus Christ, America, get your act together. Like, we don't have drinking water over here. We have no clean running water. We don't have plumbing. We don't have shelter. We have war going on. Come on. Come on, America. You're fat. You are illiterate. You're uneducated and entitled. Now, I love this country more than anything. Love this country. Very, very grateful that I live in America. Proud to be an American. But we are obese, uneducated, entitled idiots. We really are. And that needs to change. We shouldn't be. We're a powerhouse country. There's no reason we should be raising ignorant people. Fat, lazy, entitled, ignorant people. What is that about? We have to make up stuff to be angry about. It's insanity. Speaking of made up things, the bird flu, really? Are we doing this? You know, government, you know, leftists. I speaking for myself, I did not comply before. So I'm definitely not going to. That sounded like Rain Man. Definitely. Kmart. Get her clothes at Kmart. I definitely am not going to comply now. And I don't know how they have the balls. How many people are going to be like, sure, I'll wear a mask again. I'll stay 6 feet away. I mean, no. That's nice try though. Convenient that they just always happen to come up with some major, something that we're all dying from. Or there really is something that we're all dying from because China's decided that they are trying to kill us. And so they are releasing something this time to actually try to kill us. I mean, that could be a possibility too. Who knows? It could be. I'm not saying it is. Crazy times. Crazy times, 2025. Oh, I don't know. A lot can happen. I think we all need to buckle up because I think it's going to be good, but I think things are going to be shaken up. Trump's going to shake things up. And when you shake things up, people get upset. And, but at the same time, liberals have been crying for a long time. I don't know how you guys have tears left or a voice. How are you still screaming? How is your voice still even? I don't get it. You all should have like no voice left and no tears to be had. I mean, I thought you've cried them all by now, but I guess I was wrong. Anyway, those are some things that have been keeping me awake. The other is death penalty. Just jumped right into death penalty. What are your thoughts? Different countries have different thoughts on death penalty. It's sad because I'm really big on people getting counseling way ahead of the game before stuff happens. If everybody has access to therapists at a younger age, I think it would help a lot. And I do think we need more reform. I don't think prisons do anything. Again, I really need to start looking up my facts before I open my flap and like just pull shit out my ass. But I do know that our reoffense rate is huge. It's huge. Huge. And I do remember that the Scandinavian countries have this program that their reoffense rate is something like 17%. That's it. Only like 17%, because they don't do it anything like we do here in America. We don't just throw people in prison forever and let them just sit there and stare at the walls and have them work out and eat shit food. No, they actually teach people how to have a job, to hold down a job, to grow food, teach skills. That's what we need. I used to work for Job Corps, and I think that Job Corps is one of the most amazing things around. And I've talked about it before in another podcast, so I won't get super into it. But I like trades. I like jobs that you can learn on the job training and you can get your hands dirty and learn with your hands. And, you're reading a book, but you're also learning while doing it. And I feel like if we have more of those skills and we have more access to therapy beforehand, like when we're young. I'm not saying everybody needs therapy, but I think that would help a lot. But just throwing people in jail and having them sit there forever doesn't, again, I don't remember what exactly our reoffense rate is, but it's a lot more than 17%. I can tell you that. So I mean, if we're going to have people in spend our tax dollars, wouldn't it be better to do it toward things that actually work instead of continuing to do the same things that clearly aren't proving to work? It's, again, definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Clearly, just throwing people in jail isn't cutting it. We're putting a Band-Aid on a solution that requires a lot more, a lot sooner at a younger age. Catch these things before they become problems, before the dam breaks. I don't know, but death penalty is a hard one for me because I 100% feel that if you are a threat to society, like sociopaths, psychopaths, um, child molesters, if you're not going to get better, I mean, you're not going to get better as a sociopath. You're not going to get better as a psychopath with counseling. And you're hurting people and animals. I think that the death penalty is very much a good idea because otherwise our taxes are paying for someone that isn't going to get any better. They're just going to be released back into society and they're going to continue to do bad things because if you're a sociopath and you're a psychopath, and I think that if someone confesses to a murder and we know that they've done it, death penalty, because again, why have our tax dollars sit there and have people on death row forever? Now, I know there are innocent people, and I know that if God forbid, if one of my kids did something wrong, of course I would not want them to be executed. Absolutely not. But I can't be a hypocrite. It does need to be the same across the board. Although, again, I understand too, like there was a kid, God, I can't remember the documentary, but it was on Netflix, I believe. And there was a kid who killed his father and then called the police. Well, his dad was a real massively mentally and physically abusive person that threatened to kill his son all the time. And so the kid ended up killing his father. And when and at first everybody in America was like, oh my God, privileged white kid just killing his dad because he's an entitled piece of shit. Before they actually know any information. People just like to assume that it's a privileged white kid that, just did something because he's a privileged white kid who got told no and was being a brat and didn't, And then when they delve into it, it was like, oh, his dad was an absolute piece of shit and was useless to being on this earth. Those kind of people, absolutely, death penalty. No reason to keep them in jail forever. Now, if you're a child and you just did something stupid on accident, if you were drinking and driving, which is terrible, shouldn't do it, should never choose to get in a car, and you kill somebody, that's awful, and you should be held accountable. But you don't deserve the death penalty. You made a horrible, horrible mistake, and you're already going to have to live with the fact that, you killed somebody. I don't think that deserves the death penalty. So I don't know. I go back and forth on the death penalty. I know there are innocent people that have been on death row. Again, I don't know the percentage, though. I'm assuming it's pretty low, especially nowadays, especially now that we have, the forensics that we do. But we also have really corrupt police department and corrupt FBI that will frame people like nothing. Again, saw a documentary on that on Netflix. Guy went to prison for like 15 years because the sheriff was a piece of shit and framed this guy. So, I mean, that happens too. Lovely. That sounds real cool, dude. Your dumb little wind-up car. So I don't know. Death penalty is a tricky one. I don't want our taxpayers to have to pay for people sitting on death row forever. If you have death sentence, I think it should be like, boom, week after, bye, have time to say goodbye to your family. And again, that's awful because I feel horrible, horrible, horrible for the family members because that's super hard on them and that's not fair to them. And they are victims. But no need to prolong the inevitable, Why prolong something that's going to happen anyway? And just overcrowd. I mean, our prisons are overcrowded. We need to make room for our people. And then we need a huge, massive reform. Huge prison reform. It needs to just be, the whole thing needs to be redone because it's ridiculous. So I don't know. That's been keeping me up. Interesting combination, right? Cashiers, talking on the phone, and death penalty. I don't know. These are the things that go through my brain, you know? Things you think about when you don't get enough sleep. Anyway, hey, I hope that you're not thinking about morbid, weird things. I hope you're thinking of happy, positive stuff. I hope that things are going well for you. I hope that you are having a good 2025 thus far. Thank you, honestly, from the bottom of my heart for listening. I genuinely appreciate every single person that's tuning in. Thank you so very, very, very much. Wishing you an awesome, awesome, awesome rest of your day. And until next time.